So first things first, what did you guys make of the new home kit? I'm still a bit undecided on where I am with it. I like the design. I hate the new Emirates logo. I think using the two different fonts is ugly, to be honest. And I really miss the three stripes on the shoulder from Adidas. I'm just not entirely sold on them being down the side. But I think it's nice. It's just not quite as good as the one we've been using throughout this season. I love that kit so much. It was probably Adidas's best work in some time. And if that rumoured away kit is true as well, the white one with the kind of blood splatters on it, I don't like that. I really don't like that at all. But it's not a bad kit. But I'm not here to talk about the kit. Let me know what your thoughts on that are in the comments box below. Just keen to see what people think about it, because there seems to be quite a diverse range of opinions on it. But today's game was shaky. It was really, really shaky. It looked to be really positive when we went 3-0 up. Even then, defensively, we weren't overly stable. I think that back line, especially Louise and Holding at the back, both of them were nothing short of dreadful. I don't want to be too harsh, but they were poor. And it does scare me going into the cup final, knowing that this is what we've got to work with. And I think it just emphasises that we're not ready to play the back four yet. We certainly weren't ready to play it over the past couple of weeks. And it shows just how exposed we can be when we do play the likes of Holding and Louise at centre-half. And going into that game against Chelsea, I think Arteta has to switch it back to a back three. Holding as the right-sided centre-back, David Luiz through the middle, and then Kieran Tierney left-sided centre-back. You missed Tierney's crossing going forward, but in terms of defensive stability, I think that's exactly what we need for that game. And it was just really quite scary watching us at times. The amount of opportunities Watford carved open, the goals they scored were from dreadful defending. First of all, Holding playing the ball into danger, into a position that Luiz naturally wasn't comfortable receiving it in. Louise giving away the penalty, giving away the joint most penalties ever in a Premier League campaign. That's definitely not something to be proud of. But I think today he was kind of in a difficult situation with regards to that penalty. And yeah, on the second goal, just standing well by getting in between the two centre-halves. I mean, kind of rule one for a centre-half, don't let the striker get between you. And that's exactly what we did. There was no chemistry, no understanding between the two of them. Very poor and very worrying. And hopefully we are able to defensively rectify those mistakes that we saw today. But the only way we can do that, I believe, is by playing a back three. But the rest of the team was extremely strong. It was more of a 4-3-3 that we saw today. Willock and Ceballos supporting Xhaka in midfield. And then our strongest front three of Pepe, Lacazette and Aubameyang. I thought all three of the front three were actually very good, to be honest. I thought Pepe made some really good darting runs going forwards. Made some good opportunities. Lacazette won the penalty from Dawson. And Aubameyang, of course, scoring 2 goals. And gutted he didn't get his hat-trick and didn't get the golden boot. But still 2 goals, phenomenal goal scoring record, 22 goals this season, unbelievable record that he's got himself there. And you've got to say, don't really like the guy, but credit to Jamie Vardy. I mean, what, 23 goals in 38 games, whatever he's played in this season. And for his age, 33, hats off to him. That is a remarkable achievement. Whatever your opinion is of the guy, that is fantastic. And Aubameyang, 31 as well, scoring the goal he did today, that overhead kick, fitness-wise, obviously has it, and finishing wise doesn't seem to be losing any of that, and just emphasises why we need to get this guy signed up. I thought the midfield was interesting. I thought Willock, when this game kind of passed him by, this is the thing with Willock, I think in bursts he shows that he's got a lot of potential, but when he actually starts games he looks kind of, dare I say, a bit average. I'm still not entirely sold on him. I think there's more to come from him. At 20 years old, you don't want to write him off, but I still think he's not quite good enough to be a starter at Arsenal just yet. And of course, Xhaka played the full game, but with that yellow card, which was very, very, very worrying. But yeah, I mean, I'm buzzing we've got the win, obviously, but it wasn't a convincing win. If we'd have kept it at 3-0 and got the clean sheet, I'd be really quite happy. But Holding is a problem and Louise is a problem, and that scares me going into next week. I would have been really interested to see Socrates come on at half-time, because he's obviously out of favour and one of those players that's going to be leaving the club in the summer, I would assume at least, given how little he's played since the restart. But given how poor Holding was in the first half, I think we need to see what someone like Socrates can offer us going into the final, because if he's playing in that right-sided centre-back role, I don't honestly think Socrates would be a bad option, but obviously he's so out of favour. Holding is presumably the best option we've got there. Mustafi is a massive loss, which sounds ridiculous given where we were last season with Mustafi, but right now he is a big loss for that cup final, and I'm devastated he's going to miss that, because I do think on that right-hand side, coming up against Pulisic, Giroud, I worry for Holding hell of a lot. I really do. I think it's going to be a nightmare for him on that final day. But hopefully he comes through, replicates what he did 3 years ago against Chelsea. Luiz, we need him to replicate what he did against City last week. It can still be good, but these players need to switch it on. I just hope today there were just lapses in concentration because we're thinking ahead to that game. But the important thing is we've won. We've got a bit of confidence back, but it wasn't convincing. As I say, the defensive frailties are there. They're clear to see. We need to invest, but next week is massive. Absolutely massive. We've got a fantastic record in cup finals, but this is the one I've probably felt the least confident going into, to be honest. I'm excited, but I'm very, very, very nervous for our defence. And Mustafi, if we had Mustafi, I wouldn't be as nervous, but given that Holdings looks so shaky and we don't know what David Luiz is going to turn up, it's either amazing or dreadful with him. Yeah, I'm not too sure what to expect. But the rest of the team, Sabas and Jack, I think they'll be fine in midfield. I assume it will be Bellerin and Saka, possibly on the flanks. And then Pepe, Lacazette and Aubameyang leading the line. I think, apart from the defence, I'm pretty confident. And if Emi Martinez continues his fine form, which I'm sure he will, we should be marginally improved in that area of defence, because he can clutch us out a few times. But he was again amazing today. That save he made from Welbeck, immense. Made a few excellent saves in the first half. But we finished 8th in the Premier League. Without doubt, my worst ever season supporting Arsenal in my 24 years of following the club. Yeah, tough one to take, obviously. But I mean, improvements there. I think that's clear to see. I don't think we should be writing off Arteta by any means. I know there are certain sections of supporters that aren't fully behind him, but I think it's clear to see what he's doing with the club. If he wins an FA Cup in his first 6 odd months in charge, it's not bad going, is it, for a manager that had no previous experience? It does excite me about things to come. We've got Saliba coming in, but I don't think we can expect too much from him. We've got to manage our expectations with what he can bring to this Arsenal team straight away. We need to bring in a centre-half. We need to bring in an attacking midfielder. Safe to assume that Ozil and Guendouzi are done, which, you know, whatever way you look at it, I think, especially for Ozil, it's a shame that his career at Arsenal has petered out in such a dismal way. And I'd love to know what's gone wrong there, because he started every game under Arteta before the break. I think it's got to be something to do with him refusing to take a pay cut, if that is even true. But if it is true, then that's the only reason I can think why he's been left out of the team. Guendouzi, obviously, with his attitude problems, if he's not going to turn that around, then fair play. I think you've got to say, get him out the door as quickly as possible. You've only got to look at someone like Maitland-Niles, who was out of favour initially for being late to training, and now he's in the team, started the game today. I thought he was excellent today. And yeah, I mean, as I say, to lose a young player like Guendouzi is a shame, but if he's not got the attitude and isn't abiding by the culture that Arteta wants to set, then he's got to go. Simple as that. And Ozil, I think this saga has gone on for multiple years now. It's tiresome. He's on a huge pay packet. Logically, it's time for him to go. I hate to say it, but I think realistically, we all know it's time for Ozil to hang up his boots at Arsenal. Fantastic player on his day. Been a great servant to Arsenal for the past 7 years. Big part of his career has been at the club, but yes, it's time for him to move on. But yeah, I mean, glad we won. As I say, it was frail. It was scary at times. Commiserations to Watford, although I can't say I'm too gutted they've gone down. And yeah, we move on to that cup final next weekend, and hopefully we can get a win. It's a massive game for us, probably one of the biggest games that I've ever looked forward to as an Arsenal supporter. But as I say, incredibly nervous. Let me know your thoughts on the game today in the comments below. Let me know your score predictions going into the game next week against Chelsea. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. I'll speak to you soon. See you later, guys.